Change Guru. This is a place where we have a weekly conversation about all things midlife. And this week we are talking about how to embrace the change of seasons. Now, when you think about winter, does it make you feel like this? Or does thinking about winter make you feel like this?
Winter's coming.
If you're the type that does not like winter, I'm totally feeling you. I don't know if it is because I grew up in Southern California or I've lived all my life at the beach, but every time winter comes along or I'm in a cold climate, I really do it tough. But this particular winter in Australia, I decided I really wanted to give up the fight. I wanted to try to come at winter with a fresh perspective and do some things differently. Now, even if you're not going through winter, you can still get value from these tips. There's something that you can use no matter what, whether it's a season or whether it's something that's, ahead of you that's kind of looming large and you don't know how to approach it. These 3 tips that I'm going to share are going to really serve you well. The first thing that I did when winter was a-comin' was I watched my language. I used to always say things like, I dread winter or I hate being cold, just negative language. And I decided instead to play around with the words I was using and find a replacement phrase that I could use that I could relate to, that was believable for me, but also made me head off in a positive direction. So I would say things to myself or to others like, I'm going to expect the unexpected this winter, or I'm going to embrace winter in a new way. Those were a couple phrases that really worked for me, and they took away the dread. Now, this isn't just some new age woo-woo thing. When they've done brain scan experiments on people who were dreading some type of pain, the brain activity really fires up when people are experiencing a sense of dread versus those who are actually getting the actual pain. When we're dreading something, our body is creating a physiological response, meaning that at the very least, we're going to feel crummy and we're just going to be in this negative space. Or more likely, it's sending out hormones like cortisol that are going to have an effect on our immune system and set us up for some physical stuff that we really don't need to have. So that in itself is enough for me to want to change my language. So just kind of creating a sense of wonder around the things that you say, your belief system of winter made a huge difference for me. The second thing that I did to survive and thrive at winter time was I identified what exactly the issue I had with winter was. When you're saying, I hate winter and winter sucks, it's just this big blanket term, it just kind of makes it seem like everything is wrong with winter. So what I did is I drilled down on what exactly the problem was for me. And for me, it's always been my clothes. Because I've always grown up and lived in such warm climates, I really never knew how to dress properly for winter. And this year, I just made sure that I had everything that I needed in that way, and it made a huge difference. Now, for you, it might be you hate shoveling the snow off the driveway, or you just dread those mornings where it's dark, leaving in the dark and coming home in the dark. Identifying exactly what the problem is, what your issue is with winter, the exact thing or things, takes away the overwhelm and leads you right to solutions that you can put into play. Now, the third tip I want to share, I think is the most awesome, and that is the idea of really appreciating and trusting the wisdom of nature. I find that as I go through perimenopause, and all of us over 40 can really relate to this idea of changing bodies, whether we're going through perimenopause or going through menopause, is that if I look to nature for examples, it gives me strength. So I really follow the cycles of the moon, the new moon to the full moon. And I apply that same kind of philosophy to the seasons that we are going through. So let's use a vineyard as our example. So in a vineyard, you'll have the trees or the vines, and they look bitter and barren and just nothing going on. The sky's gray and all that stuff. But underneath the surface, underneath the ground, the plant life is dormant and just storing energy slowly. It's really important to have that time to gather up all this energy so then, this plant grows into this beautiful wine that eventually we're going to enjoy. So when I applied that story to what's going on for me at midlife, what's going on for all of us at midlife, this time of winter actually took on a really amazing beauty. It just took on a time of that it's okay for me to slow down. It's okay for me to gather up energy. Rather than fighting kind of the energy of it, I completely got into it. And that, to me, learning really to follow the wisdom of nature, follow the wisdom of the seasons, has been the most incredible gift this winter. So those are 3 ways to experience winter in a whole new way. And you know what I reckon? If you just choose one of those tips, it's going to make a difference to how you feel about winter. Now, if you need more, I've written out 25 really awesome tips that are going to change your mind about winter and have you experiencing it in a whole new way over at my blog at thechangeguru.net. Just go to the front page. You'll be able to see a link for it, and I've put a direct link for it below here on the YouTube videos. And one thing I'd love in the comment section of that blog is if you live in an extreme winter climate, I'd love you to share your little tip of how you enjoy winter in your neck of the woods. Now, I've got a question for you. How can I help you? What's on your mind? What topic would you love me to cover? What's, deep in your soul? What's your soul's longing that you just need some support with? You just need someone to kind of give you some ideas and advice. I want to be that person. I'd love to know how I can help you in any way that I can. So post an idea for an upcoming vlog or podcast or some of my writing below just here in the comments, or you can send me an email at susan@thechangeguru.net. I'd love to know what's on your mind and what you would like me to cover in an upcoming video. Okay, that's it for this week. Hey, life is short. Go after your dreams starting now. All right, I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
The Change Guru. Listen up.